Welcome back, y'all. We have another video for you today. This time, I just want to share some of my early thoughts on the matchup between Tennessee and Ohio State. Y'all know that we watch a whole lot of film, do a whole bunch of research, and I really feel like this one favors Tennessee very, very heavily, especially after listening to our players talk in their press conferences today. There's a whole lot of confidence, and you can tell that this team is very, very focused. So I think that we will be going up to Columbus with a great game plan and all that type of stuff, and our guys are going to be locked in. And I think that there is the confidence that comes from watching the film, from understanding who you're going to be facing up against. It's not disrespect for Ohio State. It's just understanding that the way that they like to play is not going to be able to beat the way that Tennessee likes to play. If both teams bring their A game, I think that it really does favor Tennessee. So I'm going to be sharing my thoughts. Please do share your thoughts with me down in the comment section. And as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe. Very big shout out to all the members of this channel. Y'all are keeping us going. If you would like to support us and become a member, you can do so by clicking on the join button just below this video, and you will be getting the exclusive film breakdowns that we only bring to the members. Also, very big shout out to everyone that's donating to this channel by scanning the Cash App QR code, which will be in the top right-hand corner of this video, but there will also be a link down in the description below. You can donate as little as $1. All those things, including liking and subscribing, which is free, helps us out and supports us tremendously. All right, so let me tell y'all my first thought, and something that I've really noticed over these past couple of weeks just in watching Ohio State is that they're still stuck on that Michigan loss. And yes, that is a bitter rivalry, and they've lost to them for the past 4 seasons, et cetera, et cetera. But we see that so much with other conferences. You don't see it that much in the SEC. Even if you lose to one of your rivals, you've got to move on the following week because we don't have the luxury of playing up against some of these scrub teams. In the Big Ten, there's really only 3 good teams, and everyone else is, I would say average to very, very, very below average. So they have that luxury up there. And it might just be coming from their media, from their fans, from the people that are doing podcasts and things like that. But I kind of feel like there's a little bit of that with their team, too. If y'all didn't know this, the Ohio State Buckeyes players actually called a players-only meeting and only invited Ryan Day to that meeting. And it sounds like they pretty much just went off on him for his game plan versus Michigan. For those of y'all that don't know, the game plan versus Michigan was to try to out-physical them. For you to lose to a team that you are way better than physically because you got out-physicaled, that says a lot because Tennessee is going to be more physical than Michigan is, and we're going to be a lot more athletic as well. So those types of things looks good for our Tennessee Volunteers, and I think that they are kind of still dwelling on this loss. We all know that Ryan Day is pretty much on the hot seat. If he loses this game, I think that he might be fired. I'm not advocating for that. I never want anyone to lose their job, but there is some added pressure for the players and obviously for the coaching staff behind all that type of stuff. So I think that that's a good look for Tennessee because Ohio State's playing at home and they are favored. So all the pressure is going to be on them. There's not as much pressure on Tennessee. We can play a lot more loose. And I've told y'all several times, the team that typically plays the loosest and can execute their game plan better is going to win. And typically, if you're playing looser, you will be able to execute that game plan better. But the second thing for me is going to be that Ryan Day has talked a lot about scoring more points, in playoff situations. So that's interesting because, again, if you go back to that Michigan game where everyone's talking about just, amongst national media members and also Buckeye media members that, they should not have gone into that game versus Michigan trying to out-physical them and that they could have played with more finesse. Now, that could be a good thing for Ohio State because if they try to be more physical versus Tennessee, like what it's touched on, they are not going to have very much success doing that at all. But if they play with more finesse, they have really good skill players. We talked about how their offensive line is really set up better to do some pass blocking and not as much run blocking and body movement. But I think that if they get very one-dimensional, okay, that's going to play into Tennessee's hands because we have very good cornerbacks, and we also have a great pass rush. Like, we've got guys that can come in waves and pin their ears back, going up against a quarterback that's not that mobile, in passing situations. Now, they will have some design quarterback runs for him, but in true passing situations, he ain't looking to run first. He is a stick inside of the pocket sort of a player, and that's something that Tennessee, I think, will have a whole lot of success against. But also, we've heard so many things about how cold it's going to be up there in Ohio. And we all know that it's not going to be that much colder than what it is in Knoxville, Tennessee. It gets cold there too. So I think that our players will be ready for that part of it. But also the problem with playing in cold conditions is that the ball gets more slick, it gets more hard, and it's more difficult for you to throw it, catch it, and things like that. Also, obviously, your fingers don't have as much blood to them. So again, it's going to be more difficult to make those catches down the field. But that would play a lot more into Tennessee's hands, being the more physical team, being the team that wants to be more physical and is going to stick to being physical versus a team like Ohio State that's going to try to play with finesse out in the cold. I think that all those things really do play into Tennessee's hand, which is great for us. Now, let's talk about the last thing right here that I would love to see Tennessee do. And this isn't necessarily like some super positive thing, but I think that we do need to self-scout more. I saw like a couple of days ago that Tate Ratledge, who's an offensive lineman for UGA, talked about how they knew whenever Tennessee was going to be running stunts and things like that based off of, what foot is back and, how much, what are you putting on your front hand and things like that. There's a whole lot of tells. And man, Tennessee has too much money and too many resources for us to not be able to self-scout better. That's something that we've got to get corrected heading into this game, because as long as we're not just absolutely giving away exactly what we're going to be doing on every single play, then I think Tennessee can and will go up to the shoe and win this ball game. Now, there is an old school line of thinking that says it shouldn't matter if the other team knows what you're doing. You should be able to tell them what you're doing and still be able to execute it, because they have to line up and they have to execute as well. Now, I think that there's some truth to that, but again, this is playoff football. There's no need for us to take those types of chances. But those are some of my early thoughts, just very, very briefly. I wanted to share that with y'all, but please do share your thoughts with me down in the comment section. And as always, please do make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. We'll see y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.